Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to Morning Brew. Yes, I know I went in without an intro. Let's get started. Good morning, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Good morning, Keely Chow. How are you today? Good afternoon, Ryan Roger Athay. Good afternoon, Dr. Alex. And we've got backstage.
Hey folks, I hope you're doing well. How are you doing, Cap?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, I'm fine. Today is a day off for me from making videos. I have a busy schedule, but it's good to be here, and it's good to see everyone in the chat.
Absolutely, Kapla Bird. Good morning, NB Geek. So what's going on today?
Oh, well, for the past week, Cap, I mean, the road to 800 subscribers gone by very quickly. This time last week, I was at 711. Now I'm at 798. After that kind of growth, I think maybe it's time to take a day off from video making and relax. Whereas if you can't get the viewership, I tend to do more. So
Right.
I got a few things to do, paperwork, arranging and scheduling IRL meetings, that sort of thing. So I thought I'd take a day off from making videos, still make a few scripts and a few thumbnails, for the next few days for scheduling. But yeah, things are going good. Although I must say, it's much easier to get to where I am as a creator than it is as a live streamer.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Absolutely. Video creators are definitely got a definite advantage over the live stream creators because it's definitely a different beast.
And how creators can go from being a shorts video maker to a content creator and then to a live streamer, doing all three formats on one channel. I mean, if I were doing that, I'd have three channels. One for short, though I have made a few shorts, but they're mainly for, they're mainly channel intros or showing you what I'm doing for the day. So I have a shorts channel, this channel, the channel for a creator, my current channel, and then a channel for live streaming, maybe in the new year, once a week, having a guest on and chatting about Origins and where people plan to go and how their time has been as either a content creator, a live streamer, or as a shorts video maker.
Good morning, Tim Hayes. At least I hope it's good morning. I prefer to greet people appropriately.
Yeah, you got supporters, fans, viewers, whatever you want to call your audience, because it is your audience from all over the world. Thankfully, we all speak the same language from the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, most of the rest of the world who speak English as a second language. And it's always good to welcome new people from a wide variety of different backgrounds, be they rich or poor, black or white, and all the other different characteristics of people. Everyone's welcome, including crazy people.
That's the funny thing. I don't. There's a content creator that I was watching, and I didn't know that he was black. It's something that never dawned on me.
It's wonderful, isn't it, that we don't see color or race anymore?
It's like this is one, obviously they didn't appear on camera, and so it's like no big deal. But there are people that it's like, well, you don't like them because they're black. It's like, they're what?
It's such an outdated concept of of a time when humanity was not as enlightened as it is today. I mean, for all the flaws of the modern age, folks, at least we recognize equality before the law to all people. If you commit a wrong, theoretically, if you commit a wrong, no matter who you are, you get punished for that wrong. Now, in practice, you do run into some difficulty, but in theory, we've got it right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's funny. I was looking at what Loki was going to be talking about today.
Wide versus tall. Do you want a big channel that's wide and got lots of support but not have a deep community? Or do you want to go tall where you don't have a big channel but you have a very good relationship with your community, your members, and that's the depth aspect of it? I think that's a very good discussion to have, actually.
Absolutely. And I'll be quite honest, without going into or spoiling anything that he's going to talk about, I would much rather have a broader amount of supporters and have a deeper community than have, 1,000 subscribers and have 3 people in chat.
For me personally, I want to be a big tent, a broad church, so I'll welcome all sorts of people. So wide is definitely going to be for me at the start. Then once an audience is established, then work into building a community and creating that sense of depth. But it really depends on what kind of channel you are. If you're a shorts video maker, playing it wide is actually the best way to go because you get a viral video, get a lot of people subscribing, and you build a big audience. Whereas as a live streamer, depth really suits you, mainly because getting to 4,000 hours is easier than for a creator or a shorts video maker, but getting to 1,000 is the difficult part. And of those 1,000 or a few thousand people, it's a very deep community with a lot of interaction. So if you want to go wide, folks, and be a catch-all channel, be a creator or a shorts video maker, but if you want a strong, in-depth community, be a live streamer. That's my thought.
Again, I don't want to take anything away from Loki, because I'm hoping that people will go over and watch him when we're done here.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do, because we love what he does. We love his passion.
Absolutely. Of course, knowing Loki, he might be lurking in the background. He's done that before.
He's taking notes. That's what he's doing. He's taking notes. Oh, I have a bottle of water. Good. I forgot one last time.
Dr. Alex, you have an unfair advantage with the accent.
Well, folks, I find it difficult to speak at people through a camera. That's why I rely on a script. But speaking with our esteemed host really helps me not go into blooper territory.
Yeah, blooper territory can actually be kind of fun sometimes, though.
That's true.
And it can be, it can be one of the funniest times people will get into talking about some stuff. And it's just like, I will laugh because somebody says something that is a little off. I know what they mean, but, how they say it is not exactly the best way to say it. Not the most accurate.
Humor is a wonderful thing, folks, because it can't really be pinned down. It's down to timing or shock value. That's why I really do like offensive comedy, despite the fact that it gets you canceled these days. But really, humor is a difficult thing for some people to grasp because it can't really be quantifiable, in my view. That's why people love bloopers, because it just comes out of nowhere You make a mistake with a word and then you fuck it up and make funny noises, which is what I do, and people find that funny, I guess. Oh.
And
Oh.
That's another thing, because I
Mhm.
suck at writing scripts. I've tried before, and it's just
Mm.
like I have no idea where to start. It's like, okay, here's the opening. I got to figure out something to write to, a little pithy to kind of keep people to catch their attention. And it's like,
Mm.
what the hell do I write?
Well, I write scripts for almost all of my videos except for the subscriber celebrations, in which I try to be off the cuff. But what I do is quantity over quality. So you have a format, beginning, intro, then explanation, then personal views, then conclusion, then outro. The standard, please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And that's the structure. And you occasionally change it depending on the topic. So my thoughts scripts have a different structure to Rising Stars scripts. So the Rising Stars has a particular paragraph dedicated to why I believe a creator is a rising star, which then expands the video. But for me, the difficult part was creating that structure. And ever since, I've just been continuing at it. I've always been a quantity over quality kind of guy. I mean, I backed the Separatists in the Star Wars Clone Wars.
I would have too.
Mm.
And of course, Mexican Iron Man is in.
You're not really Mexican, are you? You're not really Mexican. I'm never going to shut up about that, Mike. You're Caucasian Iron Man.
I'll be nice. I won't mention anything about Alf this morning. Saving that for Loki's stream.
But that's the kind of thing we creators can do, and we can enjoy poking fun at one another. And that's a good thing. I mean, I'm far from perfect. I mean, look at my hairline. I'm 23, for goodness sake. My forehead is bigger than Triple H's. But we always have disagreements, and I think it's best that we all put our differences aside, let bygones be bygones, and work together to the best of our limited abilities against a common foe that's destroying our popular culture, destroying our wonderful franchises, and undermining. I can't even say undermining. Blooper, undermining our way of life. There we go.
Absolutely. The funny thing is, it's really easy to let the small differences creep in there, and I've been a part of that myself, where something small happened and it became a big thing, and it's just like there's no way to fix it. But
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but the way our society developed in its origins, not in modern day, but in centuries past, was the concept of forgive but not forget.
Mm-hmm.
It's a religious concept that from Christianity and before that Judaism, is that the Christians said, especially in the New Testament, love your enemies. Now, I wouldn't go that far, but forgive but don't forget. Realize that we fellow creators, let's go to the center of the camera, for professionalism's sake, we creators are in the same boat, and we all have a common foe in the establishment who don't want us to exist. They don't want us to speak our minds. They ideally don't want these platforms to exist either, because it threatened their power and control over media. So I think it's best for us to engage with one another. I've spoken to all sorts of different people. I have no problem with the vast majority of fellow creators. Okay, one or two, Jack Murphy or DSP or the hungry fat chick who It looks like her body is literally collapsing in the center. She got her top, her bottom, and then her center just looks collapsed. I do have problems with a few creators, either because they're eating themselves to death, they're trying to rob people blind through e-begging, or they pretend to be alphas when in reality they are cucks. But we're all in the same boat, and we should try our best to speak to one another. Oh,
That was one day that was really hard on me. In fact, if I'm going to be honest, I was on the phone crying in fear, thinking, "Oh God, he's going to absolutely hate what and not listen to what I have to say." And he was quite receptive. So, Mexican Iron Man is absolutely one of the kindest people that you'll ever find. Of course, he can also be a real jerk when he needs to be.
He has a difficult job, ladies and gentlemen. He's an accountant. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do that kind of professional work environment. I mean, the scheduling for him must be horrible. It is as a result of his support for so many fellow creators that has aided him in getting to where he is today. And more power to him. He's a very kind and gracious and generous individual. And hopefully, once his schedule dies down a bit, he will be able to be at least a part-time creator, whether it's shorts, content creation, or maybe live streams once a month. You never know. You never know.
No, this is true. Hopefully he'll do some shorts or some videos, because I know he usually does most of the live streaming on other channels. Yeah, it'd be nice to have him come on a couple, maybe once a month or so when he's able to.
I think I said this before, but I'll say it again. Three biggest problems I believe a creator faces. Number one is scheduling, especially if you're a live streamer. Number two is factionalism. And number three is, I forgot which one was number three. Consistency? Yeah, consistency is difficult. Let's just put that in as a stopgap. It's very hard to start doing this, folks. And the second hardest thing is to keep on going, despite all the potential pressures, problems, finding things to talk about. That's why I take suggestions, because that's one of the reasons why I failed, because I didn't have enough content to create. So it is going to be difficult. Nothing good ever comes easy. But if you keep at it, you can go far, hopefully, as a rising star. Oh, look, it's Pops.
Absolutely. Good morning, Pops. How are you today?
Christ, it's early where you are. Get some rest, man. You're in your 50s.
I find it funny. There are people from all over who come on here, come in the chat, and some of them I'm surprised by.
It's always a welcome sight.
Absolutely.
I said before, I'll say it again. I don't have a problem with anyone. If I had a live streaming show, I'd probably use the free StreamYard system. So I'd bring on guests. We'd have a talk for about an hour or two, 10 times a month, because they have a 20-hour limit. And, just speak. Speak about stuff you're interested. 3 hours, for goodness sake, you've been up since 4?
Oh, dear
4:50 or 5? Because he's based in Florida, folks. I mean, Pops. Talk about a guy who's been in this game for about 20 years in the alternative media. He had a massive website that he co-founded in Florida, expanded into other southern states, but then the I think it was the advertising rules kicked in and they lost a ton of money, so they had to go back to their roots in Florida. That guy's been doing this in one form or another for as long as I've been alive. I'm 23. He started in 2002, or was it 2003? One of those years. So yeah, check out Pops if you haven't. Great guy.
Absolutely. And thank you, Keely Chow, who says, if you haven't already subscribed to Brian Madrase.
Keely, I'd love for you to be on a live streaming show so I can hear what you sound like.
So I would love to have him on sometime.
Don't worry, you don't have to show your face. Just a little K would be fine.
People wouldn't mind either way.
Yes. Because I understand the difficulty of being on camera, folks. I mean, doing what I do here, in the past I just look at the script, the paper script. Now it's the screen script that's not right in front of me, but it would usually be right in front of me. Looking directly into a camera is not easy. So I understand why people, turn the camera off. You can be more confident. If you have something to say, but you can't say it properly, you write it down, then you could say it. So, yeah, more people, the better.
Do I have to time you out, NB? Really?
I love that theme song. I love it.
Theme song. I hate the theme song. Absolutely, utterly hate it.
Oh, 2003. Bet you'd wish you'd had 7 seasons of Enterprise, given the current circumstances.
Yes. I would have much rather had 7 seasons of Enterprise than what we currently have.
Because there are different standards, folks, when it comes to film, television. By today's standard, Star Trek Enterprise, would have done fantastically well. In the same way that in the standards of 2017, the Orville did fantastically well. Mm-hmm. But it upset the wrong people. That's why it only gets renewed every season. And hopefully it gets renewed again and again and again and again and again, and we can have 7 seasons of the Orville. Whereas STD gets fucking 1,000 seasons and bores people to death. But there are different standards. By the standards of, say, 2005, most films made today, while they look much better than the 2005 films, the way they're written, the stories, the characters of today would be nowhere near as good as they were 15, 17 years ago. At least in my view.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. Because could you imagine the likes of The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine being made in 2022? Would you watch it? By CBS or Paramount or whoever the hell owns Star Trek?
No. Not a chance.
Of course not. Even if it had the same actors. I mean, Star Trek Picard, Season 3. Oh, they're coming back. Yay, are the writers coming back? No, because they're all very old or dead.
Hey, Moira. How are you today?
I actually... Can you notice the little camera there? That's my secondary camera. I found this in my basement because that was supposed to be the original camera to record my videos way back in like 2018. But then I lost it and I've only recently found it. This is going to be a camera, a secondary camera, to show my desk area. Of course, the laptop won't be in front of me. It'll be by the side of me. While I draw. I've got a drawing here. It looks mental. Crazy R-rated looking stuff. 4 legs. The legs go together. And the body is pulling itself back together.
Interesting.
So what would be the case, or what would happen is, the secondary camera will be on. It won't use its own sound because that will mess up the video. So I found this microphone, which I also found in my basement, where I'll be able to speak, not like this because it'll be all loud and you have to turn your volume down. But I put this on the tower, and it's going to be the tower cam. So yeah. So you can watch me draw like McKinney draws does, only far more amateurish and with the artistic style of a 23-year-old who sometimes acts like he's a pensioner, but also acts like he's 12.
My art style would be like a 2-year-old. It's really that bad.
Hey, look. Oh, I'll let you speak. I have to get something else. I've already drawn the celebration for 800.
Awesome.
Hopefully we get there. I was just told I was one away, so hopefully. I won't make the video until we're like at 805 or 810, because you know what YouTube is like, Captain.
Oh, absolutely.
They're like, just, oh, you've reached 800. Down. Like when I reached 300, they put me down to 298 after I released the 300 subscriber celebration. I can't tell you how pissed off I was at YouTube for doing
that. Yeah, I understand. Well, there was one. I went on a live stream yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't go on. I just was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a notification for it, went on, and immediately noticed I was not subscribed. It's like, what?
That's a contradiction. You wouldn't get notified if you weren't subscribed.
Exactly.
And that's why we need to talk about this more. That's why Loki dedicated an entire show for it, before it was women of the fandom. Of course, we need more women in the fandom. But this is why we need to talk about content creation, because I think YouTube does this more than Twitch does. Although I have my own problems with Twitch. Twitter does it a lot, but there are a lot of bots on Twitter, so I'm not surprised. YouTube doesn't want, I say this, I used to say it all the time at the end of my videos, YouTube doesn't want people like us to grow and succeed, because we could be a potential threat, especially if we all banded together. Ooh, what's this? Homeschool. Great idea. No?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's funny. Well, Captain is very relaxed, and I like speaking my mind, so I don't like dead air either. So.
Oh, that's true. Dead air is the absolute killer of a live stream. The funny thing is, I've been on big channels watching, and all of a sudden it's like dead air.
Yeah, for 5 seconds, and it's almost uncomfortable, and then you wait for someone to speak, and I'm like, did I speak? But is someone else going to speak? And then it's like, when they do speak, they all speak at the same time. It's so hilarious.
You're right. It's funny. All of a sudden, there's nothing, and then blah, 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 blah.
I upgraded my live streaming system so you'd see me on a better quality camera. But since electric bills have gone through the roof in the UK, folks, I can't use it because it means using too much electricity. So I'm back to my laptop again. I only have one plug on for the fan. Someone said it sounded like a tumble dryer. It's turned down at the moment, so it doesn't go because you don't want that in your video.
No,
not at all. But
I barely hear it personally, and I've got a headset out. I hear it; it's there, but it's just white noise.
I got a bookshelf over here. It's got lots of books in it. I can show you, but my room is a mess. So here you go. Look, books about war and Doctor Who. There's an oxygen tank there. It's not for me though. Got all these books: Star Wars, history, Doctor Who, folders, and a mattress because I can't get it out of the room now because there's so much stuff in here. But yeah, all sorts of stuff. Oh yes, Dr. Alex, I am based in the UK, South Wales Valleys. I'm not telling you any more because I'm not stupid enough to dox myself. uh, uh,
It's funny because there are times that you can't necessarily tell where somebody's from
mm,
just from them talking.
mhm,
But
mm. That's very true, NB Geek. I mean, public school, you guys call it public school. In the UK, public school is private school, whereas public school, as you know it, we would call state school,
mm-hmm.
state education. But yeah, what they're doing to kids is, Christ, it's awful. I myself did not experience this when I was in school, secondary school, so 11 to 16, from 2010 until 2015. Yes, I'm that young. And even then, it wasn't present. I was quite a smart kid in secondary school, not in primary school, but in secondary school I was. But I really started to notice it kicking in university, my first year. That's why I left, because it disgusted me what they were trying to put on people. But good on you, NB Geek, for getting your kids out of school. I mean, education. Why do we need education nowadays? We have the internet, one of the greatest bodies of knowledge in all of human existence. Parents are capable of educating their own children, and as a result, we wouldn't need a massive education budget. We wouldn't need to spend hundreds of millions on subsidizing universities and colleges. And the taxpayer, both in the United Kingdom and in the United States, would save a lot of money. Although, knowing you Yankees, you'd probably spend it all on weapons and tanks and nukes and stuff like that.
Who knows exactly? And as far as where I'm from, I'm in Missouri.
He's in the top of the South.
And so, yeah, I'm in the Midwest. So I'll tell you what part of the state I'm from. It's Missouri, not Missouri. So that'll tell you another thing about where I'm from. Because different regions of the state say the name of the state differently. So, I don't know. So that'll tell you a couple of things. So yeah, I'm based in the Kansas City area. That's what I'll say.
See, folks, interesting fact. Kansas City is not in Kansas, which shows you how smart the Americans are.
Well, there is a Kansas City, Missouri, and a Kansas City, Kansas, but everything that Kansas City is known for is in Missouri, believe it or not.
You know, that would be an interesting conversation to have, NB Geek. It's just I don't know a lot about the expanded universe. I know about the main stuff, the films. I know a bit about Disney nonsense. But I don't know much about, the period of time when there was the originals and the prequels. Oh, yes, prequels. And then you have that bit in the middle where everyone was writing novels and expanding the universe that way. But I don't know much about that. But the main stuff I do know. And I grew up with the prequels. I always loved the idea of battle droids. And so I supported what was the Confederacy of Independent Systems. Now they call it the Separatists for some reason. That's what I noticed. You don't really see CIS much in especially Disney Star Wars.
Right.
Which I find very interesting, to say the least. I'm just rubbing my glasses on a towel.
Ow. Well, be careful. You don't want to scratch them.
I moved well, a television is not furniture, but I moved my television more forward and I put a box behind it so I can put more stuff in my room because it is crowded in here, to say the least. I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. You open the door over there, and then it's like a U shape. So you come in through here, you sit down, you push the desk forward or backwards. And then if you want to push the desk forwards, to go around this way to open a window. And then if you want to go out of the room, you go round and out. So yeah, it's quite an interesting dynamic because I've got furniture and boxes and recycling bins. In fact, I don't recycle. Instead, I use the recycle bins that were given to us brand new. And instead of using them as bins, I use them basically to hold up stuff so I can put stuff on top of them so I can have more room.
Right.
Or for storage and that sort of thing. So, because I don't like recycling, personally. Oh. This is what happens when you're off the cuff, folks, and you despise dead air. You talk about your room layout. Riveting stuff, folks. You don't get this on CNN. Imagine, Brian Stelter got sacked. Yay! But imagine if Brian Stelter was talking about his home office layout.
Well, trust me, people would be watching it going, oh, how can I set mine up like that?
And it's a mess. I'm telling you, folks, it's a mess over there. It's a mess over there. There's a big bit of mess being held up by an older television that I had that broke. But instead of chucking it out, I use it as a barrier to keep the entire floor from being just a mess. That's the kind of person I am. Oh, that's very kind of you. Well, we can talk on Twitter. The only useful thing about that site is connecting with fellow creators.
Absolutely. In fact, one day, NB, I'll have you on to talk about the EU.
Yeah,
that's something I don't have a lot of knowledge on. But I would like to hear some more about the EU myself. So we can, you know how to get a hold of me, NB. Go ahead and write me. We'll figure out a time for you to come on and talk about the Star Wars EU.
Well, we need all the help we can get. We need loads of topics to talk about and discuss. For me, nothing's off limits. I mean, that's why I can be controversial at times because you know what happens when you truly speak your mind on the internet. You can get canceled, especially for things like the death penalty or abortion or transgenderism. I mean, my video on William Thomas, got taken down because I called a biological man a man. That's
where we are
now. So yeah,
no.
I basically talk about a lot of stuff. Athe. You see, Athe. Athe. Ryan, Roger, Athe. Clip that. Someone clip that as the answer to how do I pronounce my name. Ryan, Roger, Athe. I'm Ryan to everyone. I'm Roger when there's a Ryan who's more popular. And my father's here. Hello, Father. Do you want to say something? What? I just taught him about pronouns.
Are you a them?
No, I'm not a they, them. I'm a he, him. Shoo. I'm live. Shoo.
You're live.
Yes.
Fucking dead out.
Talk about cancellation. If he was on this show, we would be fucked. No, because he literally just, if it's boring or if the host is uninspiring, he'll just call it out and just rip into people.
I like that. I like that very much, actually. And I wish that more people were, honest about things. At least you know where you stand with him.
yes, I did tell him about cancel culture, and he said he didn't mind if 1,000 people turned up outside calling for him to be cancelled. I'm like, no, I'm not taking the piss. This is a real thing. This happens to those who are widely disliked. People come to their house, find out where they live, and harass them. And he doesn't seem to have a problem with that. Oh, that's why I keep him away from this. Because it's like stepping on a minefield or being on a minefield, and he'll just skip through it. I don't want it to go. I just tippy-toe around stuff. He just skips through, la-di-da. You're right, Moira. Wrong think is punished, unless you define it in a very technical way, with a very refined voice, and tie your opponents up in confusing language, like I do.
Absolutely.
Or try to do.
And if one of the mods could post Loki's stream this morning, I would appreciate that. I know that he's talking about, he's having his YouTube talk this morning.
I'm just writing down a suggestion from Mega Cropper. That's probably not your real name, but I understand the need for anonymity online because, if everyone was public in who they were, I think there'd be a lot more cancellation. I mean, I'm public in who I am simply because of the fact that I couldn't come up with an interesting name. And I'm from the UK, where cancel culture isn't as big of an issue as in the US, and most of my audience are American. So what the fuck are my critics going to do? Fly over in the 1,000 and search? Come on, spend your money. Find me, you motherfuckers. You're not going to do it. My thoughts on the car bombing, the Russian car bombing. Thank you, Captain. Oh, yeah, one of Putin's advisor's daughters got blown up in a car, Captain.
Yes.
The Russians are blaming the Ukrainians, but you know what governments do. When they are struggling in a conflict, they tend to do something to put pride back in the, well, not put pride, but to tell their people we're under attack. Like another tragedy that took place. I was about to say it, but I don't want to be cancelled or be accused of being a conspiracy theorist. Ugh, mean words. Russian car bombing. That'll get clipped. Mega Cropper. Mega Cropper. There we go. You're on the list of suggestions. There we go.
It's useful being based in the UK. We should not be too complacent.
Well, yes, that's very true. That is very true.
It's funny. I remember, who was it on Twitter? Somebody said that the current president wasn't their president. And of course, they weren't in the U.S. So, no. Of course, it took like 3 hours for things to get straightened out. But it's like, you got somebody who's not from the U.S. Of course, he's not their president.
Yes, of course. But I tell you this, Captain, because our cultures are so interconnected, we can have a scenario in which an American criticizes British policy while a Brit can either praise or criticize American policy because of that interconnectivity. Now, I have no problem with criticism. Yankees can criticize our system in Britain all day long. And I'm thankful for it because criticism is the foundation for improvement. I just don't like it when people take things personally, because you're always going to get people who criticize your way of thinking or your way of doing things, whether you're very forward-minded, as they would call progressive, or if you're very traditionally minded. So that's why I tend to look at things from a variety of different perspectives. Of course, there are plenty of issues with the United States, but there are many advantages too. But in any case, we all have our problems, and sometimes you can find solutions in the most ridiculous places. I mean, look at schools. Our school system in the UK has been the same since the 60s. And then before that, from when it was changed in 1967, I think, it was the way it was until the 1870s, when state school first became a thing, I believe in 1871. Before that, there was no state education in the United Kingdom or the British Empire. But you get this change and development, and hopefully America stays true to its Constitution and its current, not future, current amendments. Because if people try to change it, more and more Americans are going to be disaffected with the system.
Mm-hmm. And there's a question for you, Ryan, in the chat, and that is how to find you on here on Twitter.
Ryan Roger Athay. That's all you have to type in. On YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, hell, even on Twitch. Although I barely use Twitch because live streaming requires, more electricity and more time. But you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. You can also find me on Facebook, but I don't use it. Or I let my father use it. So all my thoughts on Facebook are, in fact, my father's. So you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Ryan Roger Athay. There we go.
And yes, thank you, Pops. Loki's Mornings of Mischief is coming up. YouTube Talk. The loyal community are quick numbers.
So you know what Loki's decision is. He's for depth, not for width.
Correct.
Which is a commendable perspective, especially for a live streamer who, over the past 2.5 years, has established a wonderful community, and hopefully it'll continue to grow for many years to come.
Well, it's funny because, he started out small, and then little by little things got bigger, and, he's got a lot of people that come into the chat now. That's good to see. I'm going to be one of them in the chat this morning.
So will I. I mean, I don't have a lot of time anymore, having gone from viewer to creator, but I try my best to be there every Wednesday for the YouTube talk, because that's one of the things that I like talking about to fellow creators. Encouraging viewers to become creators and encouraging creators to welcome new creators. It's not easy. Sometimes you get crazies or people who have difficulties in speaking, but it's worth the risk because nobody's perfect. And when you have a broad church or a broad tent community, you're going to get a few people whose perspectives are so different that it can be considered radical or extreme. And there's nothing wrong with that, so long as it's tempered with moderate discourse among other people.
Absolutely. And I think with that, we're going to go ahead and end things for today.
Okay.
That way we got time to get over to Loki's stream later. But thank you for joining me, Ryan. It was good to have you on.
Well, there is a question or two that needs asking. I mean, as a question, what is a recommendation you'd have to promote a live stream? Well, in my case, best kind of promotion I can give is a rising star video, but there's also suggestions that people make on creators. Basically, if you want to promote a fellow creator, make a short video about it, maybe a minute long, 2 or 3 minutes long. Explain who that creator is and if you believe they will continue to grow. Yes, from the GCs to the GCSEs. God, what an awful decision that was. But if you want to promote fellow creators, don't hesitate to do so. Even though you may have difficulty speaking your mind, best to write it down. I'm sure the people will give you the benefit of the doubt because nothing is expected of ordinary people. So even the minimal creation is a positive, at least in my view. Now we can end.
Now, but yes. Well, I do want to thank you again for joining me, Brian. It's always good to have you on.
Always good to be here.
Again, head on over to Loki's Mornings of Mischief. There's pre-chat going on, of course.
Show starts in half an hour, folks, or maybe a little longer.
Just a little bit longer. But there's always a pre-chat that people like to go to. It's always fun to be a part of, and it's not there for the live stream when it replays live. So, that's something that people miss when they don't go early. So, anyhow, with that, I do want to thank you again, and you all have a great day.